yesterday there was a game played right here in front of us at the park, and the lineup for yesterday's game was different than the one a couple days before. And, this whole spring, Topper's gone back and forth on the leadoff thing. Because I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, it felt like most people thought it was going to be Turner, that they were leaning that way. They kept talking it up. But then we keep looking at these lineups, Hugh, and there's a lot of days where Schwarber is still the leadoff hitter. So here's what we need to do. We are – 9 days from opening day?
9.
In fact, the actual season started this morning at 6 a.m. The Dodgers and Cubs played. So we're close now. We're really close to the start of the Phillies season next Thursday against the Nationals. Hugh, it is time for us and for everyone listening to get on the record, Hugh. It is time to put your stake in the ground. Who should be the Phillies leadoff hitter? Who do you want leading off for the Phillies? Because although everyone thought Turner, I don't think this is in stone yet. Schwarber, Turner, get on the record. 215-592-9494. Hugh Douglas, you start us off. Who do you want leading off?
I'm the leadoff.
Who do you want leading off as you're our leadoff hitter this morning?
Okay, I'm a long talk, just a tad.
Okay.
I understand the benefits of having the big fellow at leading off. Mm-hmm. That is, we're talking about Schwarber and how he's been successful, and it really hasn't been an issue. But this year, it just feels like this small thing, changing the leadoff hitter, putting some more speed at the top of the order, and allowing him to get on base if that is the case, to try to get this thing going and to try to change your fortunes in the postseason. I think that's what they're trying to do it for. They're trying to have those games when the bats aren't as hot as we would like them to be, that you're in position to play a little bit more small ball and allow yourself to score some runs that, could potentially win you the game. So I get the concept. So with all that being said in a long-talking kind of way, I want Trea Turner at the top of the
So you're ready for change. You're ready for change.
As Kyle is – like I just feel like there's not a whole lot of changes that were made in the offseason.
Well, especially offensively.
Yeah, and you're talking about personnel and everything. And this is one of those moves that, subtle as it may be, I think there's something to be said, because yesterday when we were talking to Greg Murphy, and he talked about how the third best hitting team in Major League Baseball. That's nothing to sneeze at. Even though we know here, boots on the ground, that the order went cold for the most part in the postseason. How do you fix that? Move guys around. Shake up the order a little bit. Try to put guys in position of their strengths. And with Schwarber, when you look at what he's able to do from that leadoff spot, if you have some people in position on base, I get the concept. So that's why you want to do that. But it all is contingent upon what Trea does at that leadoff spot.
Well, he's got to hit. I mean, right, there's no question. All right, 215-592-9494. It's a lot of long talking, and unfortunately, you're seeing this the wrong way. I mean, everyone is. I
workshopped this whole thing.
I know you did, and it's okay. I understand why you and a lot of people out there, Hugh, because I imagine a lot of people are on your side of this and want Trea to now be the leadoff hitter. I just two things I keep coming back to. One, last season, Kyle Schwarber got on base 36% of the time, 366 on base. Trea Turner got on base 33% of the time. That's a big gap. That is a big gap in on-base percentage. Kyle Schwarber walked 106 times. He set the table for Turner and Harper and Bohm. Trea Turner last year walked 27 times. And I understand why we think of speed at the top of the lineup. Speed's only good if you get on base. If you're telling me Trea Turner goes back to hitting 320 and wins a batting title and is getting on base 38% of the time, all right, I'm cool with that. But he hasn't been that player since he got to the Phillies. I can't hold my breath he's going to be that player. And, Hugh, you brought it up. A lot of people do the best-case scenario, right? Schwarber's power down and more in the middle of the order. And that's great. And that would lead to some three-run home runs, maybe grand slams. But you also got to deal with the other part of Schwarber, which he strikes out a lot. That is part of his game. So if you're putting him at fourth or third or wherever, that means he's striking out with guys on base. There's so many things on this team that we're not sure of. We'll see. The one thing I know since he got here is Kyle Schwarber works as the leadoff hitter, hits all those leadoff home runs. I know people want to change something because last year it didn't go the way we wanted. I think they're changing the wrong thing. I want Schwarber to be the leadoff hitter. I thought this was a battle I was about to lose, but now I'm feeling I got new life here because I saw Schwarber in that leadoff spot yesterday. 215-592-9494. Get on the record on this Tuesday midday show live in Clearwater, Florida. Who do you want as the Phillies leadoff hitter? It felt like it was going to be in stone that it was Turner, but Topper keeps going back and forth. Let's hear from Rob Thompson. He was on the morning show a couple weeks ago talking about this and whether or not he knows, he knew then who his leadoff hitter was going to be. Here's Rob Thompson with the morning show.
We heard Trea Turner talk on the afternoon show about how he's excited about the opportunity to lead off. Will we see him at the top of the lineup?
Well, you will today.
All right. Nice.
I don't know.
Rob Thompson getting ready for his career in professional politics.
Yeah, that was a great answer right there. Well done, sir.
Well, we're still tinkering with it, and I don't know where we're going to end up. One of the thoughts behind leading Trea off is that maybe it changes his approach a little bit, and he thinks about getting on base a little bit more because he's going to hit 20, 25 home runs just falling out of bed. The other part of it is if you have Schwarber behind Harp, does that help Harp out a little bit? But at the same time, I don't want to overthink it. We've had a lot of success with the way we've done it in the last couple of years. So, spring training's a good time to just try different things and see what shakes out.
Well, we're going to see what shakes out in about 9 days with opening day. 215-592-9494. That's how you hop in. Get on the record on this Tuesday. Who do you want as the Phillies leadoff hitter? Turner or Schwarber? Yesterday it was Schwarber. Sunday it was Turner. Kyle Topper keeps going back and forth. I'm not sure he knows yet what he's going to do before we get to opening day. Kyle, on the record, who do you want as the Phillies leadoff hitter?
Yeah, so I'm, first of all, very disappointed in Hugh because we were once a proud, full Kyle Schwarber.
I know.
Show.
He's left us. He's left us.
And Hugh has since left us. I'm a Kyle guy, and I understand the benefit of getting Trea Turner and the speed on base and stuff like that, but I do also worry about the amount of strikeouts that Kyle Schwarber will have at that spot in the lineup in the 4-hole. I think we obsess a little bit too much with the multi-run home run thing. Like that's going to be a rare thing, even if Kyle Schwarber's in the 4-hole. And look, I think the other part of this is Bryce Harper wants to be a 3-hitter. He said that before, that he is a 3-hitter. And Rob Thompson said that if Trea Turner's 1, then Bryce Harper has to be 2. So, I also think you have to factor that in, the comfortability of Bryce Harper in this.
It's not just two players. It involves everybody.
Right.
Well, it's a good point, right? It's not if it was just a matter of switching one and then they switch, that's fine. But this is infecting the whole lineup. Right. This is true, Kyle. It's a good point. At one point, we were aligned as a Kyle Schwarber leadoff show. Hugh has left the nest. He has flown off with the Trea Turner people.
Well, because I look at it like this: what are we trying to do when it comes to Trea? Well, I mean that's obvious, but
what comes to Trea, you mean?
I was thinking,
nailed it.
I was trying to take a deeper dive, if you will.
We don't do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a little bit more reflective on this show.
All right, so go ahead.
I'm thinking because what is the issue that we've had with Trea over the years that he's been here? Chase rate at the plate. A lot of people are a little bit upset at that. He's playing out at shortstop. A little bit upset with that. I look at it like if you're leading off, your mentality has to change because you're the table setter, in my opinion. Your job, you're tasked with the job of getting on base and putting pressure on the pitcher by being on base, especially when you talk about the way the lineup is coming up. So I look at it as they're in their own way, they're trying to get him to take more pitches.
I
and
agree
be
with
more conscious at the plate.
It feels like they're trying to do this to help make him a better
player. Yeah. And initially, because I think there has to be. Never played baseball, but I would think that there has to be.
We saw that first pitch yesterday.
That was horrible. But I think that there has to be somewhat of a plan if you're the leadoff hitter. Get on base with my speed and allow my team the opportunity to put pressure on the pitchers. Because that's the one thing when let's be honest, with Schwarber leading off, if he gets on base, are you worried about him still?
No, of course not.
That's not. This is a little bit different. See, the mentality is different when you have Trea there. So I mean, I get it.
He
did
steal 5 last year.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but it's not like you're like, oh, wait a minute, we got a speed burner over there.
No, and I understand that. I think the old school in a lot of people. Trea Turner looks like a leadoff hitter. He's like, and when they signed him, I think a lot of people thought he was their leadoff hitter. Of all the things to maybe move or change or fix on this team. Why are we changing the one thing that works? It's like turnkey. Schwarber leadoff, they win, he produces, he gets on base. That's the one thing.
Because the one thing that they wanted to do, they didn't get a chance to do.
Which is?
Get rid of Alec Bohm.
Well, that's what they didn't.
I mean, and I'm not.
So
not
you're saying it's almost like they need to change something in the lineup, and this
something
is it.
needs to change. The messaging, the packaging for this team has changed this year. We've all talked about that. We talked about how when we get a chance to talk to individuals, how the goal is still the same. It's just that it's not talked about. It's not mentioned as much as it has been in the past.
Yeah.
The mission hasn't changed, though. And I think that being a player, you know that it's kind of hard to get people to buy into what you're selling when you really ain't changed a whole lot about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do in a situation like that? You make those subtle changes. It's like being in a relationship and you tell your significant other, I'm going to put the toilet seat down, and then every now and then you still leave it up. You got to work to that point. You got to change other stuff to maybe take some heat off of the fact that you don't put the toilet seat down all the time.
So is Trea the toilet seat?
Well, I mean, in this analogy, I didn't workshop that part about
tough.
it. I just tried to,
Okay.
bring it on home so that people could make it relatable. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to work through it in my head. All right, 215-592-9494. Midday Show live in Clearwater, Florida. Phillies spring training. We'll have Bryce Stott on the show today, Ryan Kirkering. And we still do not have an answer on who will be the Phillies leadoff hitter. On Sunday, Turner led off. Yesterday, Schwarber led off. Get on the record. Who do you want the Phillies to have as their leadoff hitter? Kyle and I mean, a show that was once aligned.
Once proud.
We stick with Kyle Schwarber. Hugh has jumped. He's one of the Turner people now. Where do you come down?